Detective Samuel Arkwright arrived at the brooding estate of Blackwood Manor just as the storm had begun to break over the hills. Thunder growled in the distance, and the flicker of lightning illuminated the grim, ivy-clad facade of the mansion. It was an estate whose history loomed as large as its stone walls, a place where whispers of the past circled like restless phantoms. The inciting call came just an hour prior. Lady Eliza Blackwood was found dead in her library, the cause deemed suspicious. Her young companion, Miss Clara Somerset, had given the alarm after hearing the midnight bell toll 3 times, a mysterious sound that had plagued the manor's residents for weeks. Arkwright stepped into the grand foyer, where the shadows pooled in the corners and the scent of aged mahogany mingled with something metallic, the faint, unmistakable tang of fear. As he moved through the corridors, his footsteps echoed ominously. The dim lighting cast distorted silhouettes upon the paneled walls, lining them like specters witnessing secrets unfold. "Inspector," greeted Mr. Hudson, the butler, whose presence seemed as much a part of the manor as the stone columns that held its weight. His voice was gravelly, clinging to an air of duty. "The family awaits you in the drawing room." The drawing room itself was a world apart, a cavern of shadow and somber elegance. Members of the Blackwood household and their guests sat frozen in varying degrees of shock and composure. Lord Benedict Blackwood, a figure chiseled from granite, sat ramrod straight, his eyes never straying from the embers glowing in the fireplace. "Detective Arkwright, you've come into a sorrowful place," Lord Blackwood stated, his voice a rumble of distant thunder. "Indeed," Arkwright replied, his eyes sweeping over each face in turn. There was Miss Clara, her eyes red with tears yet holding a clarity that was unnerving, Mr. Reginald Moore, a business partner of the late Lady Blackwood, whose fingers drummed incessantly on his knee, and finally Miss Eleanor Bryson, a cousin with aloof eyes, standing apart like a silver birch amid oaks. "What can you tell me about the night?" Arkwright asked, focusing on Miss Clara. "It was just after midnight when I heard the bell," she whispered, her voice shivering like glass in wind. 3 chimes. "I went to check on Lady Eliza and found her slumped over her desk, lifeless." The detective surveyed the group, his mind piecing the puzzle with each tick of the grandfather clock in the corner. Suspicion glided to Mr. Moore, who fidgeted under Arkwright's gaze. "And you, Mr. Moore, was there something peculiar you noticed in the days leading up?" I received a letter," Moore stammered, pulling a crumpled piece of paper from his pocket. "Threats regarding a business venture Lady Eliza and I had disagreed on, but I never thought." Arkwright, glancing at the letter, lodged it firmly in his mind's catalogue of evidence. Switching gears, he approached Miss Bryson. "And you, Miss Bryson, is there anything you'd care to share?" "Dear Eliza had secrets," she stated, her voice cold and precise. "Old journals, filled with tales of a hidden passage connected to this infernal bell, an obsession of hers." The bell, a device of diversion, Arkwright speculated, picking up on a subtle current of intrigue. "Tell me about these journals," he pressed. Miss Bryson pointed him towards the library, leading him into the belly of her accusations. The musty shelves sagged under the weight of leather-bound volumes, their faintly distressed sense enveloping him as he tucked a journal under his arm. As he leafed through, entries laid out a map of the manor's secret spaces and passages. Suddenly, a fleeting thought sparked, the impossibility of the midnight chimes. No bell existed on the estate. Could it be a recording? Tracing the clues, Arkwright lifted an oak panel, discovering a primitive timing mechanism rigged to the household phonograph, a clever ruse to distract by drawing focus away from the true events within the study. The guests assembled once more in the grand hall. Arkwright addressed them, the air tense with the weight of anticipation. "Ladies and gentlemen, the midnight bell was designed to mislead." His eyes fell upon Lord Blackwood, whose facade of stoicism finally cracked. "Lady Eliza discovered the embezzlement of the Blackwood fortune," Arkwright declared, noting the ripple of unrest coursing through the room. "The timing device, the journals, all point to the diligent hand of Miss Bryson, seeking to turn the chaos to her advantage." Gasps erupted. Miss Bryson remained unbowed. The family fortune belonged to all of us, she hissed, any pretense of indifference now shattered. And you saw to its dissolution by rigorously orchestrating this, Arkwright continued, his voice even. The business letter, a mere red herring. A silence wrapped the hall as guilt seeped into Miss Bryson's every breath. Defeated, she offered no further resistance as the police were summoned. As dusk embraced the estate, Detective Arkwright departed Blackwood Manor, the truth unfurling behind him like the tail of his shadow. The storm, now distant, rumbled forebodingly. It struck him, as always, that revelation carried consequences. In the clearing of one mystery, seeds for others were inevitably sown.